Hello. Oh, feels like it's been forever since I've been on this podcast. Since December 18th. I'm back. It's January 8th. It's a whole new year. Welcome to the show if you're watching. Yeah, jeez. I don't remember how to do this anymore. It's been so long. 3 weeks is a long time. I've since I've been doing this podcast, I've not gone 3 weeks without doing it. So that was a little weird. But yeah, a lot happened. A lot happened in the news while I was away. So gonna have some things to talk about at least, some funny things to talk about. Um, yeah, the Epstein list. That's gonna be a funny thing to talk about because this was supposed to be more than it is, and sadly, I don't think it's what it was all. We all thought it was going to be. I expected it to be redacted completely anyway. Um, so what it is now, I just feel like they're using it for a different thing now. They're just kind of muddying the waters with it. They're just spewing out a whole bunch of names, a bunch of different contexts what the names were there for, or how they were referred to, and it just like it's like throwing a bunch of shit at the wall. It's like some's gonna stick, not much is gonna stick. Like who knows? It's just a mess. So that's we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what that means for some of the people that are listed on that list. Also, Tiger Woods, he's now ended his 27-year deal with Nike. Kind of sad news. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, he made golf for Nike. Let's put it that way. Who knows if Nike's moving away from golf or what's going on? But that's the end of that little marriage, I guess you'd call it. I will talk about that. Also, NASA has decided to kind of enter I guess they've always kind of been in it, but they're entering the space race a little bit now. They're going to send some kind of probe thing to the moon now, and yeah, we'll talk about that. See this. Got an article from the NASA site themselves, so we'll see what they have to say. Also, um, this is kind of interesting. Science seems to be proving the Old Testament, some stories in the Old Testament, at least one, um, is likely to be true, or at least factually sound to the way the Bible depicts it, which is kind of neat because we're finding now with modern science that it's starting to prove some of the stories and some of the accounts in the Bible, which is kind of cool for anybody who's religious or at least God fearing. I'm kind of God fearing. I don't know. I'm agnostic, right? So it's a weird place to be, but yeah. But I like to hear this kind of stuff because heck, I'd like to have my scientific brain turned into a biblical brain. That'd be kind of cool. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Also, the Lululemon founder, he has outwardly blasted DEI, which, if you know by now, DEI is diversity, equity, inclusion, and Lululemon's need to appease everyone. I guess I don't know. Is gone are the days where it used to be that companies could market to a certain target or a certain you know certain section or sector of the population. Now it's like, oh, if you don't include everybody, you're in trouble. And it's always the loudest minority that's the problem. So we'll talk about that and what that means for the company. Also, there was an Alaskan plane that lost the door. It was kind of interesting. I guess that happened about a month ago now, but they found the door plug. Anytime you say plug, I want to add a different word to it, but I found the door plug in a backyard in Oregon. So we'll talk about that real quickly. And the last thing, I got a little funny article about the richest cat on the planet. Um, I'm not going to say who it belongs to right now, but you probably already know. I'll say he is very popular, and I'm not surprised that it's this woman's cat. So we'll talk about that. So, anyways, yeah. So if you're watching now and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. If you don't like the content, well, just close the feed and be away with you. But if you like the content, share it, subscribe, like, do all the different things that that help the small channels go because that's what helps push the algorithm to push my content around. Um, Growth has been a little stagnant in the last little while. Obviously, again, like I said, I talk about stuff on the podcast. It's a little bit. Um, it's not. I don't take the mainstream approach to how I talk about different subjects. So I don't think a lot of my content is pushed very much, considering it goes a little against the narrative. So if you want to help that along, the best way to do it is share, and do all those kinds of things. So, and if you've missed any part of the podcast and you want to watch the whole thing again, just check through the week, 5 o'clock, uh, pretty much every day of the week, depending on it's at the very least Tuesday to Sunday. I'll have a one little element of the podcast in a little, basically a little 5 minute size video of each different topic that I talk about. So, yeah, like that, share that, all that jazz too. So, without further ado, let's get on to it. I'm going to get into the first topic here. So, the Epstein list. We knew this was eventually going to come out. It has. And now that it's come out, I don't know how to feel about it. A little disappointed, a little bit underwhelmed. But as we all knew, Donald Trump's name was going to be thrown in around there, even though it's shown that he really didn't have anything to do with anything to do with the island, or really anything to do with Epstein himself. He just knew him, probably was at a lot of the different same events. Obviously, Epstein um, owned a place in New York. Donald Trump is a big New York guy, so obviously they're going to know each other. They're going to cross paths, all this kind of stuff. Anyways, let me read this article. This is from The Independent. This is just going to talk about some of the names and stuff, and I'm going to point out some of the things that are going on in this article, which is funny because this is a UK article. So it just goes to show you that this narrative kind of, it transcends the globe, let's say. Okay, so the Epstein list, full of names revealed in unsealed court records so far. So Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton are among the more than 100 people named in newly published legal documents linked to the pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The disclosure of the first batch of court files includes the names of victims, friends, and associates of the sex offender and Ghislaine Maxwell, although many others have no direct link to Epstein. The millionaire financier, who socialized with royalty and celebrities, was accused of running a large network of underage girls for I shouldn't say the word sex, so I'll just say underage girls for transactions of the chitty chitty bang bang or the bow chicka wow wow. We'll put it that way. While awaiting trial, he killed himself in his jail cell in 2019. No, he didn't. Um, or did. I don't know. Maybe he didn't. Most likely didn't. I don't know what he did. Allegedly. Allegedly, he killed himself. Um, there's no question. He's he's unalived. Put it that way. Legal documents relate to a defamation lawsuit brought against Maxwell in 2015 and were published under a judge's order on Wednesday. The second tranche of documents released on Thursday evening did not shed much new light on the case, including many of the names previously made public. Further documents unsealed on Friday are currently being reviewed by the Independent. Okay, so here, this one makes me laugh here. So it says, uh, hold on, where is it here? Prince Andrew appears prominently with the documents mentioning a previously reported accusation that he groped Johanna Schoberg, which she denies. Former U.S. Presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump are also named, with neither accused of wrongdoing. Okay, there's where it's funny. It says Bill Clinton and Donald Trump are mentioned. So you see how they sully it? They just throw them together. They were both mentioned. Bill Clinton had gone to the island a number of times. He's on flight logs. There's a weird picture that was found of Bill Clinton in a blue dress in Epstein's New York apartment. There's some crazy ties going on there between the two. Donald Trump knows him. There's no real crazy ties, but you see how they put them together, so you can just kind of say, "Oh, well, they're both involved." Just throwing a bunch of shit at the wall, and they're hoping that by putting both the names together, you'll just kind of go, "Oh, well, it seems like Donald Trump wasn't involved, and I guess maybe Bill Clinton was involved." Like, you're just selling it all. It's just a way to throw it in a big soup, so nobody can kind of discern what the real uh, who the real culpable or guilty parties in this whole little torrid scene were. So gross. But you knew that was going to happen with Donald Trump. You knew they were just going to throw his name anywhere in there. They're just going to try and link him in every which way to Epstein, even if it's, you know, even if it's just kind of benign like that. They're still going to put it in there because they know it's just kind of just mentioning him with that in that same sphere with Epstein is not good for him. So this whole list here, I'm not gonna read it. There's a lot of people on. I'm just gonna kind of go through a couple of what's on this list. It's kind of funny. Um, People I thought were kind of funny, like Stephen Hawking. Why is Stephen Hawking on there? Hey Jeffrey, take me to the island. Like, what's he doing? He's just sitting there drooling, looking. Oh, these young girls. Uh, Michael Jackson. Yeah, it's a big surprise. Wonder why he'd be on that list. Kevin Spacey. We already know he's a bit of a creep. Who else? Bruce Willis surprised me, but again, who knows? Like, who knows if this is a real why he's on that list in any way? You know, maybe he was at a party. Again, it's like you get people like Naomi Campbell, Cameron Diaz, Chris Tucker, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Of course, going to throw him in there. And look how they say American politician and conspiracy theorist. Just I just want to stab my brain when I read stuff like this. Get out of here. That's how you're gonna put them. Okay. Anyways, yeah, it's a lot of people. Who else? There was one other one that I thought was kind of funny towards the end. I think here. Uh, Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. It's a big list though. There's a lot of people on here. I've seen some lists. Unfortunately, I've seen some lists that I think people have edited and have kind of you know, I don't know. Like I don't know what the true list is. I don't think you're gonna be able to find the true list because you're gonna find all these reports on and they've got everyone's got a narrative to push. Most of them have the same narrative, so I guess that's nice for them. But I've seen lists where the Obamas are on there and stuff. Again, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, Oprah. Oh, that was one. I saw a list with Oprah on there. Again, this guy was a very popular. Put it that way. He was a big deal. He was a big, he's going to all the biggest parties, that kind of stuff. So it's not weird that people would know him, that he'd be that people would be, associated with him in some way. It's just how are they associated? And again, that's what that's what's irritating about this whole thing. It's they sully the waters by just dropping names of people that are reputable into pool with all the garbage. So we'll see. We'll see how this list comes out. Maybe if he gets, a couple more trusted, um, you know, unbiased sources, put it out and we can see it. Maybe we'll get a clearer look at what it is. All right. Then we got through that. Now that I got through the part that's going to cancel me, let's let's move on to the next thing here. Okay. So Tiger Woods has ended his 27-year deal with Nike. Kind of weird. I'm surprised on this one, to be honest. I would have thought Tiger Woods and Nike would have been, linked for pretty much for good, considering Tiger Woods is still playing. You know, and you look at someone like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan hasn't played in like 20 years, and they're still linked up with Michael Jordan. So I'm not sure what's going on with this. I'm going to read this article here from CNN Business. It's CNN, so they add business to the end to give it a little bit of credibility, but yeah, whatever. Okay, so Tiger Woods has broken up with Nike after protracted 27-year collaboration with the world's largest sportswear company, golf legend announced on Monday. Over 27 years ago, I was fortunate to start a partnership with one of the most iconic brands in the world. Woods went on to write that there will certainly be another chapter. Nike bid adieu to Woods on Instagram, saying it was a hell of a round, Tiger. Tiger, you challenged your competition, stereotypes, conventions, the old school way of thinking. You challenged the entire institution of golf. You challenged us, and most of all yourself. And for that challenge, we're grateful, the company added. Popular Swiss sneaker brand ON running CEO Mark Maurer, addressing speculation following Wood's departure at Nike, told an audience at the ICR retailing retailing conference on Monday that Woods was not signing with the brand. We hope he finds a great new partner. It's just not going to be us, Maurer told the gathering. Nike has almost been synonymous with Woods. From when he first went pro in '96 to his Masters win in 2019, his first major tournament win in 11 years. Even though a sex scandal drove sponsors such as Gatorade, AT&T, and Accenture away from Woods, losing him an estimated 20 million. His relationship with Nike stayed intact. In 1996, Nike launched the iconic Hello World commercial based on Woods' professional debut at the Greater Milwaukee Open, where he began the press conference with, I guess, Hello World. Huh? Woods signed a 5-year endorsement contract with Nike in 2000. It was worth an estimated 85 million, making it the richest endorsement contract in sports history at the time. So I can keep reading this, but basically it's just, yeah. So it looks like I don't know who, I don't know what would have spurned this, if this would have been Nike or if this would have been Woods himself. I don't, he's been, obviously, if you watch Tiger Woods in the last bunch of years, he's had problems with his back. He's had problems staying consistent. He did win in 2019, which was huge, but he's not the same, clearly not the same Tiger as he was back in his heyday. And maybe he's deciding that, some of his body issues and some of his, lackluster results are a cause for an end to his career. I'm not sure, but either way, this is kind of weird. Like I said, it's weird for such a big name for Nike and him to split, considering, like I said, that Michael Jordan's still apart and he's not even playing anymore. So I don't know. We'll have to see what this is all about. I'm sure they'll keep it quite to the chest, so you're not going to really know exactly what the reasons were. But either way, kind of sad. I think this might be the beginning of the end for Tiger Woods, which, for someone like me who grew up watching him, is kind of sad. All right. Well, I gotta move over this way because I feel like I'm out of camera frame. There we go. A little better. Yeah. I don't know where Joe is today. My comrade, maybe in 2024, he's decided he's gonna skip out on the podcast. But Joe, you're missed today. I'm all by my lonesome over here, and it's just sad. But that's all right. Just a couple viewers, a couple quiet viewers. All right, let's get on to the next thing here. I'm just gonna plug through. I don't have to talk to anybody. Just talk to myself, I suppose. So NASA's at it again. They're gonna get back to the moon, not with people yet, with a private robotic flight. So, yeah, this is from NASA themselves. So this is just going to be a straight shot. I'm going to read this article here. It's going to tell you what they're doing. Again, I don't know, speculation as to what's going on, why they're doing it, why the sudden interest, in the moon. Seems everybody's interested in it. I have some theories, but we'll go over the article there anyway. So NASA science heads to the moon on first U.S. private robotic Artemis flight. Carrying NASA scientific instruments as part of its commercial lunar payload services initiative, Astro Robotics' Peregrine lander launched on United Launch Alliance's ULA Vulcan rocket at 2:18 a.m. Eastern from Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. Say that a couple times fast. Peregrine has about a 46-day journey to reach the lunar surface. I wonder why it's so slow, but anyways. Once on the moon, NASA instruments will study the lunar exosphere, thermal properties of the lunar regolith, hydrogen abundances in the soil at the landing site, and conduct radiation environment monitoring. 5 NASA science and research payloads aboard the lander will help the agency better understand planetary processes and evolution, search for evidence of water and other resources, support long-term sustainable human exploration. So looks like, again, I would think the only reason why they're going there is money, mining, looking for resources that are hard to find on Earth, easier to find on the moon. That would kind of make sense as to why they're looking for hydrogen abundances in the soil and things like that, and then they're trying to see about radiation. Obviously, that would affect any equipment they would have on the lunar surface, any humans that would exposure to that, how long they can be exposed to that, which you think would be information that they might already have had, from the first landing. You know, if you believe that happened, in which obviously it did. So yeah, the first CLPS launch has sent payloads on their way to the moon, a giant leap for humanity to prepare to return to the lunar surface for the first time in over half a century. You could have left out part of that statement there. Return to the lunar surface for the first time, said NASA Administrator Bill Nelson. These high-risk missions will not only conduct new science at the moon, they are supporting a growing commercial space economy while showing the strength of American technology and innovation. We have so much science to learn from CLPS missions that will help us better understand the evolution of our solar system and shape the future of human exploration for the Artemis generation. So, here's the 5 things that it's going to kind of do. Laser refractory array. So a collection of approximately half-inch retroreflectors, a mirror used for measuring distance, mounted to the lander. So I guess that's determining the lander's position. So okay, cool. That would seem like that's something that it should have. Neutron spectrometer system. The system will search for indicators of water near the lunar surface. Okay, so then linear energy transfer spectrometer. This radiation sensor will collect information about the lunar radiation. Like I said, near infrared volatile spectrometer system. This system will measure surface hydration and volatiles. It will also determine certain minerals using spectroscopy while mapping surface temperature and changes at the landing site. So obviously that's, again, for the systems they're going to put down there, humans being on the moon, that kind of thing. Peregrine ion trap mass spectrometer. This instrument will study the thin layer of gases on the moon's surface called the lunar exosphere and any gases present after descent and landing and throughout the lunar day to understand the release and movement of volatiles. Okay, so they're obviously, it would seem that they're studying all this for mining purposes solely. I don't think, I don't think we're at the point where they're going to be looking to colonize the moon, other than short-term colonization of like people that would be doing the mining. That would be my guess anyway. Um, it would seem timely that they're going to try and beat some of these other entities, companies going up there like SpaceX and Blue Horizon and stuff. So it's going to be first up there. First up there, whoever gets a real stronghold up there is going to be the first one to really start making bank up off the moon. So we'll see how this goes. All right. All right. On to the next. Gonna plug through here. Plugging through, plugging through. This one, I was kind of interested in this story, so I kind of want to talk about this one. So it looks like we may be starting to prove some of these Bible stories, which is kind of cool. I'm going to read this article. This is CTV News article. CTV is garbage. It's up here in Canada. It's a garbage news channel, but sometimes they put out okay articles. This one might be all right. So it says new research method helps verify event mentioned in the Bible's Old Testament. Using a new scientific method, researchers from 4 Israel universities help archaeologists corroborate an event described in the Old Testament of the Bible, the conquest of the Philistine city of Gath by Hazael, king of Aram. So if you're familiar at all with the Old Testament, you'll know what that means. I'm not exactly familiar with the Old Testament too much. I know a good amount about the New Testament, but the Old Testament's kind of it's a real dry read. So if you read the Bible, you'll know it's a pretty tough read, but this is cool. The researchers from Tel Aviv University, the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Bar Ilan University, and Ariel University say that unlike previous methods, the new technique can help identify burnt metals discovered in excavations and estimate their firing temperatures. Our findings are very important for deciphering the intensity of the fire and scope of destruction at Gath, the largest and most powerful city in the land of Israel at the time, as well as understanding the building methods prevailing in that era, said Professor Aaron Muir of the Martin Department of Land of Israel Studies and Archaeology at Bar-Ilan University. So during the same era, dwellers of other lands, such as Mesopotamia, where stone was hard to come by, would fire mud bricks in kilns, a type of oven, to increase their strength and durability. This technique is mentioned in the story of the Tower of Babel in the book of Genesis. The new method relies on measuring the magnetic field recorded or locked in the brick as it burned and cooled down. After proving the method's validity, researchers applied it to a specific archaeological dispute. Was a brick discovered at Tel Safi, identified as a Philistine city of Gath, home of Goliath, built of pre-fired bricks or burned on location? A common hypothesis attributes the destruction of the structure of the devastation of Gath by Hazael, king of Aram, Damascus, around 830 BC. However, a previous paper by researchers, including Muir, proposed that the building did not burn down, but rather collapsed over decades, and that the bricks found in the structure had been fired before construction. If this hypothesis were correct, it would be the earliest instance of brick firing technology discovered in Israel. So basically, what it's saying is that they thought that the building had collapsed in one way, which would be counter to what the Bible said. And now science is proving that it most likely was, it goes in line with the accounts of the Bible. So that's where science is kind of cool. Science can kind of prove stuff. Science and the Bible were always, you know, at odds with each other. But then, now they start proving things like the flood theories, um, and the idea that perhaps there could have been a major global flood, as the story of Noah's Ark refers to. Even though when you hear a story like that, it sounds pretty, you know, it sounds silly. I mean, on all accounts, you're putting each animal in a big ark and floating on the water for 40 days, and it's it's a story that's, you know a little cray cray. But if science is able to prove this kind of stuff, it's like each each little story that they're able to prove gives more and more credibility to the book, to the whole book itself, right? So that's where I'm happy about this. I'm happy that they're actually starting to, prove these kinds of things and stuff. It's really quite neat. I'm not going to read the rest of this article. So it just goes into some more science end of it. I just gave you the summary anyway of it, so it's kind of pointless for me to read the rest. But let me know what you think in the comments. You think science and religion are going to kind of, or shouldn't say science and religion, because religion's a whole different thing. Science and the Bible are going to start to, corroborate each other, or science is going to corroborate the Bible, and we're going to start to see some of these stories that are being told, or in the different books, especially in the Old Testament, as being true. Because I think a lot of people understand that a lot of what is said in the New Testament is kind of, it's not really contested at this point whether these people were there. Whether Jesus was an actual person. The contestment is whether he was the Son of God. That's about the only real contestment. Whether he was a actual person or not, a real person, is pretty much, they pretty much know that that's true. So yeah, again, let me know in the comments. What do you think? Yeah. All right. Let's get on. Let's get on. I'm just blasting through. I'm at a fifth of 7 stories, and my last 2 stories are gonna be just real quick, real fluff stuff. I just saw them and I thought I'm gonna talk about them because they're both kind of silly. But here we go. Let's get on to this one. This one's kind of interesting. So the founder of Lululemon has outwardly blasted DEI, which, if you know what DEI is, unfortunately, it is diversity and diversity, equity, and inclusion. I was losing the second word there. Diversity, equity, inclusion. Real irritating new uh, adoption in business now that they've added that. In certain businesses, sure, I think it probably has its place. Others, I think it's kind of stupid. But anyways, let's go into this article here. This is from CBC News. It's Canadian outfit, and the fact that Lululemon is a Canadian company, let's kind of makes sense, I suppose. So Lululemon founder faces backlash for blasting company's diversity inclusion efforts. Lululemon founder Chip Wilson is again facing criticism for his latest remarks regarding the company's diversity and inclusion efforts. In a recent article by Forbes, Wilson objected to the company's use of models with a range of body types, whom he said looked unhealthy, sickly, and not inspirational. They're trying to become like the Gap, everything to everybody, Wilson said in an interview with the magazine. So now Wilson, he was the CEO. He stepped down in 2013, so he hasn't been involved in the company's day to day in like 10 years, right? So yeah, and that's probably enough time to have seen all this kind of stuff, this woke agenda really kind of entrench itself, right? I can imagine he's irritated as the founder of the company, watching his company kind of go in a different direction than I'm sure he initially intended. And I think the definition of the brand is that you're not everything to everybody. You've got to be clear that you don't want certain customers coming in. Wilson's views have prompted backlash, including calls to boycott the brand by Lululemon customers on social media, Canadian designers calling for the end of anti-fat sentiment, and exclusionary biases in the fashion market or in the fashion industry. Clothing is powerful and is political, said Connolly McDougall, owner of Connolly Goods, Vancouver-based sized, uh, Vancouver-based size-inclusive clothing brand. When regular people are hearing these comments, it's hard. We've had to build our own exoskeleton of armor against these comments, and what we need to do is speak up against it. Wilson founded Lululemon in 1998 and resigned as chairman in 2013 following controversial comments about its Luon yoga pants. Yeah, those are the see-through pants, which some customers had complained were too sheer. Bend over the wrong way, and I'm going to see all your bits. Quite frankly, some women's bodies just don't work for it. It's really about their rubbing through the thighs. How much pressure is there? Wilson told Bloomberg in 2013. Yes, okay, I'll say it here. If you are a very, very big person and you're wearing a stretchy pants, yeah, the material, it's really hanging on. It's really stretching to the point where holes, holes are showing what's under there. So yeah, it becomes sheer. Put a tight pant on a big butt. You're gonna see a lot more than you would see on a butt that pant is made for a smaller butt. Just but he's not allowed to say that apparently. But oh well. In a statement, the Authentic Wear Company, headquartered in BC, said Wilson does not speak for nor reflect Lululemon's views. I love that. Oh, that's so irritating to me. What a kick in the teeth. You make a company. It's your idea. You build it. You're the founder and all that. And then it goes public. You sell a bunch of shares. You know, now you got to invite board members and all this, and people have different ideas for direction for your company that you founded. And now after the fact, they say that the guy who started the whole thing doesn't speak for the company in any way. Oh, that would be so irritating to me. I'd want to burn the whole thing down. But whatever. Lululemon is committed to creating and fostering an inclusive, diverse, and welcoming environment throughout our organization and across our communities, it said. Adding Wilson has not been involved with the company since 2015, or since his 2015 resignation from the board of directors. Okay, so he was involved until 2015. Okay. We have made considerable progress since launching our inclusion, diversity, equity, and action function, and we are proud of the goals we have achieved. Okay. Lululemon, according to Forbes, is the seventh largest apparel company in the world, and Wilson is its largest individual shareholder with an 8% stake. Okay. Okay, here we go. This is the part that drives me nuts. I pre-read this article a couple hours ago. I'll stop as I go. You'll see where I'm annoyed in it, and I'm sure you'll be annoyed hearing this too. So, McDougall, this. If you go back here, this was the woman. This is a woman that has a clothing line that they started. Whatever they were talking shit about Lululemon. But here we go. McDougall says embracing body inclusivity in her business and marketing has made a profound impact. Adding she went from working out of her living room to a small production studio in Vancouver and made six figures in sales in 2023. Okay, that's nice. Cool, you made six figures in sales. So that's nothing to sneeze at. Good job. It's a nice little niche sort of thing, but okay. This is where it gets funny. For a design to be good, it has to include everybody, and I mean everybody, McDougall said. What do you know? What do you? Oh, this is her. This is her, of course. That's exactly what I thought she'd look like. Uh, what do you know? You're going to tell Lululemon. You're going to tell the founder of Lululemon how to do business good in the clothing sector. Wow. The hubris of these people is just drives me nuts. It's basically like I'm going to reach out to Joe Rogan tomorrow and I'm going to tell him how he should do his podcast. I'm just going to give him some tips, because to do a good podcast, I obviously know, and he's just learning essentially. So I'm going to give him some tips. Fucking idiot. When I see people like Chip Wilson saying that large people aren't their customers, I just get incensed because how can you hold on to these harmful views? At first, she says her business included sizes up to 3XL, but was encouraged by peers and advocacy groups to expand her range further. 3XL, not big enough. Let's get a little bigger. I think you're getting the blankets at that point. I'm pretty sure it's blankets. I'm pretty sure it's parachutes. The range is, we can get as large as you like, I suppose. We can make dresses and yoga pants for tables, I guess, and couches and complete nonsense. But okay, whatever. Like, when does it end for a company? They have to just include every last little bit of people. They can't have a niche. They can't say, no, no, we do yoga pants for people that make up the majority of the sizes of people on the planet. I don't know. That's no, we got to include everybody. We got to have a whole line over here that makes us no money whatsoever. Run that shit. Fuck off. Okay. I was told that garments up to 60 inches in body circumference. Wow. 60, that's 5 feet, everybody. 60 inches is 5 feet. 60 inches in body circumference don't encompass a huge majority of people wanting to buy clothes, she said. That really shook me awake. To create clothes for literally all sizes and seeing the transformation in people, the way they carry themselves is profound. And there you go. That's what they want Lululemon to look like. This is destruction of good companies. That's what this is. This is basically um, this is like an insurrection of the company. Like when they try and go in there and they're going to try and tear it down. They're gonna spread all their bullshit into it. No, you're doing really well as a company. No, now you need to do all this shit. We saw it with like Bud Light. Bud Light made one little move and they lose 25% of the market share. Incredible what these idiots do. Keep taking advice from little people like this making 100 grand. You know, again, good for her for a small business making $100,000. But I guess she has something to say to Lululemon, and they should lend her an ear, I suppose. Complete nonsense. Good on Wilson for speaking up. I'm glad he has the stones. I guess now that he's not affiliated with the company directly, he can say what he wants. He's just got to be freeing as hell. But I'm with him. Good on you, man. Say what you feel, and you know, stick by your cojones. You founded the company. Oh, that one charged me. When I read it earlier, I thought, oh my God, I have so many things to say about that. I had so many other things I could have said. I kind of held back. So just so you know, I'm sure it won't. It's not going to help me. Hold back enough. I don't know. I'm I'm either going to get nasty comments. Sometimes I actually don't because I think my audience. I've got such a small audience that they haven't found me yet. The haters haven't found me yet. I every once in a while I get a hater, but whatever. Yeah, I don't care. Doesn't bother me actually. Any comment at this point, anything's good. So give me the negative, give me the good. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. All right, let's get into the next thing here. This one, I'm just gonna blast through this thing here. Oop. So it looks like a plane lost a door. It's kind of weird, but in mid-flight, which or it must have been mid-flight because it was an Alaskan Airlines. I'm gonna read this article anyway, but uh, this plane uh, I guess this happened in early December, like December 8th or something like that. So we're about a month. Let me read this. This is NBC News. So a missing door plug that detached from Alaska Airlines plane found in Oregon teacher's backyard. That'd be a fun find, eh? You just find a door to a plane. Missing butt plug. I mean door plug. That could that could be the key to investigation into what caused it to detach from an Alaska Airlines plane shortly after takeoff. Has been found in the backyard of a Portland, Oregon home or area home, officials said Sunday. Okay, so it's Alaskan Airlines. I guess it was probably taken off from Portland. I think this was actually. I'm pretty sure this plane was going to California. So, which would explain why there weren't as many people on there that could have been. I don't think anybody's going to California anymore. I'm excited to announce that we found the door plug. National Transportation Safety Board Chair Jennifer Amendi said at the end of the news conference where she laid out the latest developments in the probe of Friday's near disaster. Okay, come on. Plugs and probes. Somebody's trying. Somebody's trying with this article. They're really trying to kind of. There's a so there's a lot of a lot of innuendo going on here. Innuendo, if you will. So we're gonna plug up these probes. Identifying the resident of the home who sent two photos of the item to the NTSB only as a school teacher named Bob. He said, "Thank you, Bob." Yeah, that's probably his name, most likely. Here's pictures of it if you can see it. On Twitter looks like it was up in a tree. Kind of funny. At least it missed everybody. Imagine that door hitting somebody, or hitting a car, hitting the house. Jeez. I mean, it was shortly after takeoff, so it probably the plane wasn't too high, but still, if the plane's up 1,000 feet or so, even. Jeez, door that door can't be light. Um, let me see here. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to mention in this article. I thought the rest of it was funny, but this one here it said at the end of the first full day of the NTSB investigation of the accident on board Alaska Airlines Flight 1282, the agency's chair indicated that some factors were complicating the probe. The plane's cockpit voice recorder's record of the event was inadvertently taped over, and at the time, the door plug had not been found. So it was taped over. What? What are we in the 80s? That is unfortunately a loss for us, somebody said, lamenting the loss of voice data and sounding frustrated during a news conference Sunday night because that information is key, not just for our investigation, but for improving aviation safety. Yeah, I would think that the voice recorder on a flight would be pretty, you know, I wouldn't think that you'd want to loop over that so quick. Even, even like convenience store uh, security cameras, they don't loop over until like a week. You can't get a week out of these, or like at least a full flight. It's weird. Yeah. Anyways, that kind of bugged me. 2 hours. Why would that be a thing? But there's a picture of the sucker with the door blown off. Imagine that. Imagine you're sitting there. So apparently, um, there was where the door blew off. There was nobody sitting in the seats there. The seats were all like, buckled around from the pressure, or whatever. From I guess, yeah, the pressure, I guess. And the headrests were just ejected off of them, but nobody was there. So luckily, just happened to be a pretty empty flight. So good news for that. At least no one got hurt. But it's weird stuff. This is not the first time we've seen issues with, you know, the mechanicals on planes. At least they're not coming down, but the mechanicals on planes going kind of weird. This one's a bizarre one. Hopefully, it's not a problem with like a whole line of 747s because that would be kind of scary for people traveling around. All right, last last thing. Just gonna blast through this. What are we at? 43 minutes. So blasting through. My first one back, and my first one of the new year. So just gotta ease in, a little bit. And nobody's chatting, so I can just get right through it. Well, this is probably the stupidest story. Uh, I don't know. I found it. I thought this is so ridiculous. I'm gonna talk about it. Taylor Swift's cat is worth 97 million. Like what? Number one, how do you how are you finding out? How are you compiling this cat's net worth? Does this cat have rights? Does this cat have a will? Where's this money go? This is so irritating to me. Okay, this is the National Post, garbage. But so, this is sad. This is funny. Her cat is richer than her boyfriend, who is Travis Kelsey. You should already know. If you don't already know, he's a tight end with Kansas City, one of the best in the league. But since his whole relationship with Taylor Swift, it's just been. If you ever watch a Kansas City game, it's just. Ugh. They show her at least 4, 5, 6 times cheering for anything that Travis Kelsey does, and it's irritating. Anyways, so this cat here, let me see here. Forbes style list of the world's wealthiest cats compiled by the website allaboutcats.com claims Taylor's cat Olivia Benson. Kind of funny, I guess. I shouldn't roll my eyes. If you're gonna name a cat, might as well give it a full human name. Who the singer adopted in 2014 has around double his fortune and is one of the world's richest felines with an estimated net worth of $97 million. Oh, there are still some people that struggle to get clean water on this planet, and you got a cat that's worth $97 million. Tell me what's wrong with that. Noah says the cat earned her fortune starring alongside her owner in several music videos. Oh yeah, she just earned that fortune, did she? Named after Mariska Hargitay's Law and Order SUV character, the cat is also said to have crafted her own merchandise line. Oh yeah, oh, wow. She crafted it with her paws, and has had cameos in many big budget ads, including the likes of Diet Coke and Ned Sneakers. Taylor, who is worth 740 million. Unbelievable. According to Forbes, has had her cat appear in her Blank Space and Me music videos, as well as in various commercials, including one for Diet Coke in 2014. Gotta pay the cat, I guess. Taylor owns another cat, Benjamin Button, named after Brad Pitt's character in the 2008 film The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, but he didn't make the pets rich. He didn't make the pets rich list. That's bullshit. So obviously there's a favorite out of those two cats. So you can't even throw the cat a bone. You don't get it. She said about wanting more pets on Live with Kelly and Michael before I got the second cat. I was like, oh my, I'm not even this. I can't. Sorry, I can't. Uh, this is pathetic. Apparently, let me see here. Oprah's got a dog worth 30 million. Oh my god. I don't know. This is stupid. What's this one? The late Carl Lagerfeld's cat, Poupée, is also high in the rankings with a fortune of 13 million. I was competing with humans before this. I was thinking it's, to try and build my net worth and stuff and do better for myself. I was just seeing if I could beat the humans, but cats are beating us. Cats are beating me. Cats are beating a lot of people, apparently. This is sad. We live in a sad, sad world where the cats have more money than us and more money than I'll ever see in my whole lifetime. So, yeah, funny and sad at the same time, that story. But yeah. All right. Well, we're at 47 minutes. We beat the 50-minute mark. I'm getting out of here because, yeah, that's it. I'm done. No more podcasting for me. Thanks for watching, all you watchers that were watching. Now I see I'm down to 0 viewers, actually. Holy, I've never seen that actually at the end because usually I at least have Joe. Yeah. So anybody who made it this far, thanks. Anybody who might be in and out. Apparently, I'm just talking to myself right now, but thanks for watching. If you like the podcast, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends. Share it with everybody. Just share it. It's the time of giving. Let's give the podcast to everybody. Let's get it out there. Let's make me. It's not gonna make me any money yet, but let's get me on the way to making me some money on this podcast. Just saying. Be nice. Be nice. I'm not asking for much from you. Just if you could, that'd be nice. And yeah, check out the videos. Check out the segments throughout the week, 5 o'clock from Tuesday to, I guess this week I might put the seventh video out. We'll see. But at the very least, Tuesday to Sunday at 5 o'clock. Check those out, share them, like them, all that stuff. Comments help. All that stuff helps push the algorithm, push it around. So, uh, again, thanks for watching. See you next week, same time, Monday at 7 o'clock. And if you are in the viewers, get in the chat. See what you have to say. I'd like to hear your opinions on some of the stuff I talk about. All right, that's it for me. Thanks everybody. We'll see you on the next one.